That's an issue. That's something that's got to get taken care of. My ex-husband broke the door handle on my passenger side, so my door does not open on that side, unfortunately, from the outside. Somebody actually has to climb over and open the door from the other side. And let me take this for a second because I'm actually going to show underneath here, which it's very faded. That is the autograph from John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard. It said, "Yeehaw, John Schneider, 1997. All right, we got some damp rid on the floor over here. The button to play my Dixie horns. We got my trusty little companion on the dash here. I was a Mopar Nats participant. We got my t-shirt there, which definitely says whose car this is. I did some work to the interior years ago, but unfortunately it's already started to fall apart where I had to replace these panels. My seat is ripped, which is why there's a giant Chrysler flag right there. I've got right here in my passenger seat some interesting stuff. These are all of the car shows that I've done over the years, which I put out on display every time I go to one. This is a stat sheet for my car and a partial decoding of my fender tag. Alright, so I'm going to pass this on over. We're going to show underneath the hood. I've got a lot of electrical issues with it. So to turn my headlights on, what I have to do is take this wire and wrap it around my battery terminal. So as you can see, headlights are on. And then to turn them back off, there we go, headlights are off. A friend of mine told me that this reminded them of the movie The Karate Kid with the mother going, "Pop it!" because I have to pop my hood in order to turn my headlights on and off. Stay right there for a second. I'm going to play my Dixie horn. I'm gonna take you around the corner and show you Jenny's garage. Since this vehicle has not been garage kept since 1999, that right there is my garage. Some of my tools are over in my other car. That's Peppy, my little mule over there. I've got some issues here. I need definitely a new trunk deck lid. That's a given. But underneath all of this stuff here, believe it or not, my trunk is solid. So there's that. And around here, this doesn't open thanks to my ex-husband from the outside, which is awesome. It's just a matter of taking the panels apart and re-hooking the device that's inside there, the latch and everything. But this weather, it's killing me. I haven't been able to do any of this stuff. My vinyl top actually had to be torn off because it unfortunately got vandalized at my previous residence, and it got keyed, so moisture started getting in underneath on the roof. So my vinyl top had to be torn off in order to stop it from getting worse and holding the moisture in. What I've done is I sanded everything down and just had a friend of mine come over and do a quick stop rust paint job on the top to hold me over. And that meant that these emblems here, they had to come out. And now all along here in all these seams, this all has to get body filler done to it. I've been doing everything I possibly can over the years with what I have to work with in order to keep this car going as best I can. Got American Racing rims that I used to have spinner caps on, and they have managed to disappear over the years, unfortunately. Everybody tells me that I should get rid of my bumper guards. I like my bumper guards. She's a girl. My headlight assembly, I do actually have the new pieces to set these up, but currently my headlights are being held in with the mechanic's best friend, zip ties. I have the original 28-inch radiator on this vehicle, and that made it almost impossible for me to find a fan shroud for the car. What's happening is she's overheating very quickly because there's no fan shroud, and I've got a 5-blade flex fan on here. So what's happening is the air is basically just fluffing around in my engine compartment. It's not getting funneled over the engine. So as soon as she starts hitting 200 degrees, 220, that's it. I take her off the road and park her for a little bit, let her simmer down, and then I can take her back out again. I did finally manage to find a fan shroud. There was a very nice gentleman out in Wisconsin. That fan shroud is sitting in a box in my living room waiting for this weather to break so that I can schlep it on over here and have you folks help me out with putting it in. A friend of mine gave me a 7-blade fan, which is also waiting to go into the car. And this air cleaner is also not the one that I want on the car. The air cleaner that I do want on the car is in my trunk, and the reason it's not on there is because I have this 1-inch spacer in between my intake manifold and the carburetor. And the spacer is there because this piece right here prevents this linkage from kicking back when I'm on the throttle. So that's why it's raised up a little bit. But with it raised up, because that's an 850 carburetor, that's not a little thing. With that spacer on there, my air cleaner that actually says 440 Magnum on the top of it, nice K&N, won't allow me to close my hood, unfortunately, which stinks. As you can see, there's a mishmash of plugs and wires here, wires. Got some electrical tape, and the reason why these are a different color from the rest is because this car has a habit of burning up the boots against the headers. And what would happen is, like on the road as a quick fix, I would just kind of switch them out. Okay? My coil over here has been holding on by winging a prayer for the last 21 years right here, and it's pretty solid in place, but that's not the right spot for it. This car was used as a parts car, and that's before I had it, so there's a lot of things missing from the car that over the years I've been trying to put back in as best I can. So that's why you don't see my reservoir for this right here. That's an aftermarket piece of junk for the overflow for my coolant. You don't see the reservoir for my windshield wiper fluid. That whole entire assembly is gone. So all I can do is the best I can, putting her back together little by little, piece by piece over the years. But the fact that this is not a trailer queen, she runs, drives, and moves, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, oh.